Thank you so much for hopping on our summit recap call. I will go ahead and get started on our announcements first. All right, Tara, can you see my screen? Okay, awesome. All right, so the way that I put this together is that I put this together in kind of order of importance. So we hear all these announcements, but some of these things are not even happening till like 2020, like our launch in a different country. So I kind of tried to order this from what we need to know now and take action on now, and what's important in our business now, to also things that are kind of happening later in the year or into the new year for us to have in the back of our minds to prepare for. All right, so first up, today was another launch day. So it was pretty cool. We kind of had 2 launch days with MM100. We had the launch on July 1st for coaches, and then today, now we can open up this program for all of our customers if they, did not want to sign up as a coach. So keep that in mind, that is important. That's what's happening now. In less than 2 weeks, we are kicking off that program on July 29th. And this, I just got off a call with Tara, and we were just talking. When I am doing a program and when I am inviting to it, and it's the first time, I find that it is the easiest thing to invite to because it's exciting. It's a brand new program. And this is something that I am doing for the first time too. I will tell you, even when I did Transform 20, of course, I was still so excited to invite everyone, but there was something about inviting people to do something with me for the very first time. With Transform 20, I was in the test group. I had already done it and I could share that experience, but it feels really cool to ask people to join me when I'm doing it for the first time too. So take this opportunity to invite like crazy to get people on this 100-day journey with you. All right, so if you haven't heard it yet, hopefully you did. Hopefully a lot of you got your ticket already, but we are going back to New Orleans. And I say back because we were there a few years ago. We went once. And what is pretty cool about Beachbody is that they are taking all of the feedback and suggestions, because what I loved about Indianapolis was that everything was so closely located, from the hotels to the convention center to the stadium, whereas in NOLA, it's a little more spread out, but they are adjusting their schedule to make it work so that we spend, if you look at the schedule, you can even look at it. There's a day that we're just going to be at the stadium or the Superdome, a day that we're going to be at the convention center. So and allowing more time to travel when needed. So that's awesome that they are looking to improve this event when we go back there. So it is July 15th through 19th. Many of you may have gotten your ticket for $125. That was the most discounted ticket, but they have a ticket right now. If you did not get your ticket for $125, they have a ticket for $150, and that is available now through July 28th. So keep that in mind. And the thing about committing now, of course, you can buy a ticket later. I'm sure there will also be a discounted ticket later, but committing now, what kind of mindset are you creating about your business? You are saying, I'm going to be here a year from now. I'm going to build this business. And maybe you have a goal for something that you want to achieve by Summit next year. But by having that ticket, you have a different mindset with your business for the next year. So I strongly suggest you snag this $150 ticket if you did not already get your $125 ticket. Okay. So something else that is available now is the collagen boost. And this is huge because this is like the buzzword. You hear all about collagen peptides. You probably have tons of friends, and I feel like I've seen people already posting like, do you buy collagen? Where do you buy it? Chances are you're going to hear about people purchasing and using this already. So this is something that you can be talking about and get for yourself. This is a boost that this has everything to do with like your skin and your nails, your appearance of wrinkles, all of that. And this collagen boost you can put, it's actually a little tiny scoop, and it's unflavored. So you can put it in anything. I mean, easiest is probably your Shakeology, but you really can put it, you can put it in your Energize if you want, or Hydrate. I mean, you can mix it with whatever, because it's unflavored. It's not going to change the taste. But this is just a little bit of information on it. Collagen is something that your body naturally produces. So this just helps, it helps your body stimulate to produce your own collagen. So this is something to try for yourself and to start sharing now because it's available now. Okay, something else that's available now are new and active coaches promo codes. So you should have, I think we got them yesterday, gotten promo codes, 3 of them, in each of your business centers. So for instance, like I have 2 business centers, my first and second business center, but then I also have my husband's business center. So technically I have gotten 9 promo codes to use. And they do need to be used for that specific business center. But it gives you the opportunity to share an additional discount for those that are signing up as coaches. So this goes along with my next slide with our Beachbody open house for our super weekend. So this is for coaches to sign up. However, new coaches that sign up now through September 30th will get 3 promo codes when they sign up to help build their businesses with customers. So they will get, as new coaches, those promo codes for challenge packs with customers. So it does not need to be for signing up coaches. It can be for those signing up with as a customer. So it really gives our new coaches the opportunity to maybe even just help them with inviting to be able to offer that discount right off the bat. Obviously, we have a sale with Morning Meltdown 100. So anytime there's a sale price, it makes it a little bit easier, especially when we get those price objections. So it's nice to be able to, as a new coach, have those codes to offer. Okay, so next weekend, I will fully admit that I usually get overwhelmed with an event right after Summit. And I'm on the Pittsburgh Market Council. So even the thought of like planning this event while we were preparing to go to Summit was just kind of a little bit stressful. But now hearing about it more at Summit, and now coming home for Summit and being pumped up and excited and wanting to continue with that momentum, a live event is the best way to keep that momentum going, especially this one. Now, I've never experienced an open house event like this, but I think that the idea behind it, instead of going to a Super Saturday right after Summit, when you already heard all the announcements, we're going over all the announcements right now. You don't need that like repetitiveness. Instead, we have this opportunity to share the coaching opportunity in a different way and be able to invite those coach prospects. So this, obviously it's super weekend, so it might be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. If you're in Pittsburgh, it's on Friday night, but this is an awesome opportunity to keep that momentum going. Invite prospects to go with you to this open house. I know Philly has Jericho, which is so cool. So take that opportunity to be able to bring guests, go work out with Jericho, share the coaching opportunity, get them signed up. That's another thing that I think is so awesome, that just everything is like perfect timing and ties it all together. We're coming off of Summit and people seeing all the excitement from Summit. We have this open house to share, and then we're getting started with Morning Meltdown 100. It's a 100-day program, and I know for me personally, when I went all in with 80-Day Obsession, I saw such a difference in my own health and fitness journey, but I also, with going all in and just sharing my journey, I saw amazing success in my business too. So take advantage of all of this that's going on right now to be able to build that team, to have these opportunities to share what coaching is all about, and get your coaches started out well by getting them started with Morning Meltdown 100 and committing to that longer program. Okay, quickly, Pumpkin Spice is coming back. It'll be coming back in September. So we have that to look forward to. 6 weeks of the work is also coming. September 30th is when early access will be. And they also told us that there will be no test groups. So we won't even be finished with Morning Meltdown 100 if you're doing Morning Meltdown 100, but you'll have the ability to go right into this if you choose to when you're finished. But so it's 6 weeks of the work by with Amala Caesar, and I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but he was a trainer, or is still a trainer with NBA players. He is a really cool dude. He was up on stage at Summit, and he was awesome to listen to. But it's an intense functional training. It reminds me of Insanity, but with weights and more. I don't know. So it's going to be cool, and it's definitely geared toward. It's something that is not necessarily geared towards beginners. It's going to be hard. It's going to be more for intermediate and advanced. But I think that's what they were going for with this. So we'll hear more about this as we get closer to it. Okay, since pumpkin spice did so well, they are coming out with peppermint mocha in November for the holidays. Nina and I got to try it, and I will say that I am not a peppermint person. Peppermint mocha, I wouldn't even order a coffee that's a peppermint mocha, but it was just a hint of peppermint and has like a good chocolatey kind of flavor. So it was really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm excited for it. I'm glad I had the chance to try it because I am more excited about it. Okay, plant-based beach bar, and that will be chocolate almond crunch. That's going to be in December, I believe. Yes, December 2019 is when those new beach bars will be coming out. We also have a bar program to look forward to. That will be something that's coming out in the winter. That will be like our program that's kicking off the new year. It'll probably be available in December and kick off in January, but it's something that's been asked for a while. And then we have the launch of Team Beachbody in France, which is super exciting, but that is not until the second quarter in 2020. So we have a while. We have a year, a little less than a year. But what was really cool was one of the trainings in the Leadership 2 training was with Jamie Fitzpatrick and Arnaud Nakaha, and they were talking about launching in a new country, and that has just got kind of like ideas, spinning and ways to prepare for it. Not quite yet, still a ways away, but we have ideas from that training that we can do to prepare for this launch. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing because this is where I just want those of you that went to Summit to share with us something that you learned or something that you took away from, one of the general sessions, one of your trainings, or something that you want to implement right away that you think would be beneficial for the group. So let me stop sharing. All right, lovely to see all your faces. Some of you hopped on while I was sharing. So if you have something to share, you can unmute yourself, and I would love to hear from you. Don't be shy.
Hey, this is Jessie. So I also just listened to the morning wake-up call from yesterday while I was at the track tonight. And a quote that really stuck out to me was she said to go before you know. And I know I get stuck in that cycle of like being really overwhelmed and having too many pages of notes, and I don't know where to start. So I'm just going to shut down and not do anything. And there was a really good analogy. She said, it's way easier to steer a car that's already moving, but if the car is stopped, you're not going to be able to steer it. So like keep moving forward with your business, keep plugging away at your power hours, and plan time to get projects done out of the excitement you're feeling from Summit. But don't just wait until you've gone through your notes or figured it all out to get started on that. Like get started on that right now while you still have that excitement and that energy coming out of Summit.
I love that, Jessie. Thank you for sharing. I listened to the National Wake Up Call. And if you haven't listened to the National Wake Up Call, it is a really good call that Brittany Leggett did about keeping up with that momentum from Summit. But that's a very good point about going before you know. And it's kind of like what I said, you can get overwhelmed with all of the information and feel like you need to map it all out before you even do anything. But that is not the case. So thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else? Oh, one more thing about her call though too that goes with that is that don't forget about the basics. Like don't get so excited about the like extra things that you want to do. She specifically talked about, and that's what Jessie mentioned, about scheduling project time. So if there's something that you want to like create or do, schedule specific project time into your week. And that's when you do those things. Don't let those extra projects and things, those extra things that you want to do, take over from doing the actual basics on that Success Club tracker, those vital behaviors. Just a reminder on that. Okay, Brittany, I think you were trying to unmute yourself.
Yep. So I was just going to say, this is Brittany for those who can't see me. I took away so many nuggets. I have a whole notebook full that I'm processing through, but I think the biggest thing was what Michelle said earlier, that it's not that knowledge is power, applied knowledge is power. So I took away so much from Summit in my notes, but now I need to go forth and apply these things. And so the first thing I did in the car on the way home was to make a list from like schedule in the time when I'm going to do the business activities throughout my day, because I do work full time. And that's always been an excuse for me, is like, oh, I don't have the time. I work, but I have 2 hours of a train ride every single day that I just scroll on Instagram. So now I am scheduling the things that I need to do that I know will move the business forward. So I want to make sure that I stick with that and check in regularly with some people to make sure that I'm keeping myself accountable.
Awesome. I love that. That's great advice to be, and I know that some of you talked about, had the training about, working your business in those part-time hours and finding those pockets of time. So that's important that it comes down to scheduling and finding that time. You have to make the time to do those business activities. All right, Amy, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
So I was in the Leadership 1 track, which I really, really enjoyed, because I felt like it was all fresh content. So for me, what I took away is that I want my team page and my team, my personal team, to be the community that I've always been looking for. And it doesn't matter how many people are engaging necessarily, but I'm going to provide the content and the energy that I want in a community. And I'm going to be the light that brings it there, because whether other people are engaging or not, if I don't put it there and I don't pour that energy into it, then it's not going to happen. So for me, it's creating the atmosphere in which I want to thrive, and I want the others in my tribe to thrive. So
awesome. I love that. Go ahead, Dawn.
I have to unmute myself. I'm trying to get one of them in the shower here. So I would have to say that the one thing I took away that really just, I don't know, Jade Simmons was fabulous. Loved her. I know Christy and Kimberly, we all just said the same thing, and Danielle. The moments we are in are not accidental. Like, it's not an accident. And then I didn't write it down, but maybe someone else remembers her saying it. I put it in my post the other night. It's how essentially your creator is not going to look at you maybe the way you're looking at yourself. Like, he sees you at your highest potential. Like, he always sees like more for you, where we just always are using ourselves as like, I'm just this or I'm just that. But the way she said it, Christy might have it in her voice memos, but I don't know if she saw it or not. Just the way she had said it was like, you just need to be reaching for more, and you need to be, he sees us as so much more in our potential. So I know I'm totally not doing the best at describing it, but it was towards like the last 2/3 of her talk in my notes, but I was just like, it just like hit me. That was like the biggest, besides like the moments we're in are not accidental, in the other quote about our creator. It was like undescribable.
I'm trying to look for the actual quote. I was trying to look back at my notes from her, but I loved her.
I know.
I used in part where she talked about stop being half of yourself. and you need to bring every part of yourself to every single table every single time. I loved that from her too. Yeah, she was like such a pleasant surprise because I knew nothing about her and didn't even know that she was speaking when she was speaking. So that was awesome.
Agreed. Loved her.
Who else? I see lots of you that I spent Summit with, so don't be afraid to share.
I'll chime in. There's just a couple things. I mean, one of the things that, I mean, probably everybody here, well, I don't know if everybody here would know, but you know, I'm terrified to invite. I'm one of those people that just is terrified to invite. And inviting definitely is the key to everything. You can't just sit there and will people to want to be with you. You know, yeah, that does happen sometimes. But, you know, if you're having a party, basically, you know, if you post it, and one of you guys have said this to me before, I don't know if it was you, Michelle, or Nina, or Amy, but, you know, if you're having a party and you post it on Facebook or you post it on Instagram, hey, having a party, be at my house at this time, nobody's going to show up because you're not personally inviting. I mean, if somebody would say, hey, I'm having a party on Facebook, I'm not going to just show up to their house because I wasn't, you know, really invited. So that, you know, that isn't something that I took away from Summit, but I kind of relate, you know, it to what I have learned at Summit. Also, back to the party theme, I don't remember where it was that they said it, but focus on your people that are in your group. If you are having that dinner party and you have those people sitting at that table, but you're outside asking everybody else to come join your party and not paying attention to those ones sitting at the table, that those people at that party are going to be upset and they're going to go home. So, I mean, that was a big takeaway. There was something else that I wanted to say. I can't remember what it is. Lost my train of thought.
Heidi, you wanted to say that you rocked it at Summit and you completely went in and came out a completely different person.
I did. Yeah. It was definitely a life changer. I mean, Amy said that she watched my shield kind of go away. that shield that I have up all the time, kind of, it was like, it totally like lifted away. So it was definitely, it was a great experience. I was terrified to go. I didn't want to go. I made every excuse in the book not to go. I mean, work was a big one that I didn't know if I was going to get off, but it was huge. I'm just blown away at everything that I learned. You know, the energy that was there was just outrageous.
I love that the Heidi that came to my house Thursday morning is not the Heidi that showed up at my house.
Oh no, that was bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just,
that was bad. I'll just drive.
It was just anxiety. It's okay. We all have had it. But look, I just loved watching you just let it go and experience it.
Yeah. It was good.
I'm so glad to hear that you had such a good experience like that. And I know it's so nerve-wracking to think that, you know, I was a teacher and I've never been to like a giant conference like that, you know, that we didn't have things like that. We had like personal development and professional development, you know, with just our school or district, nothing with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So it's very nerve-wracking, but you embraced it. And now you have the opportunity to keep up what you just moved. I was like looking at you like you can see me look, and then you moved the screen. That totally threw me off. But now you have the opportunity to keep that energy up and keep that momentum and bring it to your business now, to see the change in your business now. I think that's such an important part after having such an amazing experience. So, okay, cool. Amber, were you trying to unmute yourself before?
There we go. Yes, my favorite thing that I thought, because I feel like we all had that fear at the beginning of doing something new. And I feel like since January, I've really dug deep and have really used the success tracker, and they really talked about those vital behaviors and things like that. But one thing that stuck out to me was you'd mentioned it earlier, was just sticking to the basics and celebrating like even the micro goals that you make, not worrying about those big, huge goals that you have set for yourself, but make sure that you have celebrations in between to help to build that momentum and keep you going so that you don't get frustrated or don't shut down or don't give up on yourself. That was probably one of the things. And also to be true to you, just do you kind of thing. That was something else I kind of got from, these were, I think, from the little breakout sessions that we did. I was just kind of looking through my notes and pulling out things that stuck to me that I've been holding on to right now. And then working on your storytelling, which I've tried to do this week as well. So I guess those were 3 things I took away.
Awesome. I love those. Yeah, even just celebrating like a day of being consistent with your vital behaviors, and then a week of being consistent, completing a tracker. And we were also just talking about this before we got on this call, about not feeling like, because this is what I see people, we know the basics are so important, and we know that Success Club tracker is so important, but people feel like they need to check off every single box every single day and have a perfect tracker. And then when they don't do that, they don't track. How many of you have done that before? Like, so many of us have done that. So don't feel that way either. Celebrate day by day, taking those actions and not being this perfect coach with this perfect tracker, But okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing those, Amber. Who else? Go ahead, Nina.
Okay. So something that I do when I go to these like trainings, I try to be selfish, and I try to think like, what do I need to hear? What message am I going to take away? But then at the same time, I also try to listen and say, what can I take away to teach? Like, what do my coaches and also clients need to hear? So for each speaker, I tried to highlight like one thing that I could really focus on. In what I could like teach you guys. Like, I have my selfish stuff that I'm going to work on, but for this call, like, I wanted to take something away that like I could have you guys apply maybe and think that maybe you needed to hear. So one of the things that Melanie kind of started off, and one of the things that she said was, make sure you put meaning behind your goal. So often, like, you might have a goal to hit Success Club 5 or Success Club 10 every month, but what does that mean to you? Does hitting Success Club 5 mean that you're going to get $150 and you don't have to stress about paying for your own Shakeology? Like, if it has that meaning, you're going to go hit it. Does becoming diamond, like, what does that mean to you? Is that just your goal because that's what you think it's supposed to be? Or what is the meaning behind it? And maybe you need to make goals that aren't associated with Success Club and with rank, but maybe more like income goals. One of the things that we have is we have that our launch happening in France. And one of my goals is to bring my business to a place where I can actually pay for my trip over to France for the kickoff, but also bring my family, because my girls would absolutely love to go to France. So those are the types of goals that I'm making in my business, not like necessarily, I need to be 5-star diamond, but no, I need to have a business that pays me so I can take my kids over to the kickoff event in France, because I know that they would love to do it. And also bring Amber too, because she would love to do it. And another thing, like, I think we overcomplicate this, but I think if no matter who you are in your business right now, if you could work every month thinking about 5 people that you could invite to the coaching opportunity, 5 people that you could invite to join you on the fitness journey, and 5 people that you could add value to and help with nutrition, then you're going to surpass any goals that you ever have by doing that. And then, hang on, I dog-eared a little bit. Oh, what I love that Rachel said, and we could like have a whole call, I think, on Rachel, but I think something that we need to maybe like write on our mirrors or put in our journals is just ask that ourselves and give us that like reality check. Do you want it, or do you want to keep saying that you want it? Because how often do you say, I want to be diamond, I want to hit Success Club? Well, that's great. Like, I'm glad you're saying you want it, but are you putting the actions behind it? And do you truly want that? Or are you just saying you want it? And then, so in the leadership one, Michelle and I went to that, and there were only, I want to say, like 200 coaches or something in there. It was a really small thing. But the author of Atomic Habits was in there. And if you guys struggle with habits, like, I would recommend reading the book. If like you're rock solid on your habits, then you probably don't need to do it. But I think 9 out of 10 people do struggle with habits. And my biggest takeaway from what he said is you're going to you're going to miss, get out of your habits. You're going to miss a workout. You're going to have a bad day with nutrition. But kind of a rule of thumb that he teaches is don't miss it twice. So it's okay to, to have that bad day, but don't skip your workout twice. Don't miss it twice. And then for us too, in our leadership, they talked a lot about storytelling. And just one example that I want to share with you guys is there's a huge difference in taking a picture of you doing a workout and saying, oh, I just crushed a workout, feel great, or actually sharing a story about your workout and yourself. There's a big difference between taking a picture of you drinking a shake and saying, oh, I drink this shake every day, it's amazing, or talking about what that shake does for you and sharing a story with it. And I think that's something where we can all work on in our posts. And I loved it because Bonnie Engel did that training, and she talked about, we were going through, like, there was this trend where we had to be like short and sweet with our posts and just be like, oh, now this workout. And that's what Instagram wanted. But that's not what we do as coaches. We inspire people through our stories. So we need to be sharing stories. And it's okay to have 6 paragraphs on Instagram because people are going to relate to your story. They're not going to relate to your sweaty selfie. Like, that's when you lose followers. That's when people scroll through. So I think like that, I took pictures of all of her slides, and that's something that we could share. Or maybe even like what we can do is we can think about different topics that you want Michelle and I to dig in deeper. And those can be our future calls that we do, team calls, dream builder calls. But I think like that needs to be a huge focus with all of us, is to really, really look at the storytelling. And I think that's like really what I had. Like, yeah, there's the international thing, but I don't think we need to really focus and worry about that. There was the other, Lindsay Matway. She did our training, and this was my biggest takeaway of hers. So it was really touching how she presented it. She started by sharing a picture of her daughter, and her daughter was like standing in her shoes. And she was like thinking about, her daughter growing up, whatever, like, and then there was a picture of her daughter when she was older, and they were looking eye to eye. And her daughter asked, Mommy, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up? And Lindsay said she wants to be able to look at her kids in their eyes, no matter what age they are, and say, we're living our dreams. We are doing exactly what I wanted to do and what I dreamed of. We're living our dream life. Instead of saying, well, I wanted to be able to travel the world, but, it's just too expensive. We don't have that money. I wanted to be able to give you this and give you that, but we don't have that money. And she actually shared a letter that she wrote to herself saying, like, basically what she would want to accomplish if she died. And it was really touching because she's living that life. And then she ended it by saying, and this is something I know I've shared many times on team calls and just talking with you guys in person. Ed Milet does a whole podcast on this. But the goal of your life is that when you die, you're presented this other person and you meet this other person. And the goal is that when you see this person, that they are identical to you in every single way, and it's your twin. And your worst nightmare is going to be meeting this person and not recognizing them, because the whole theory behind it is that when you die, you meet the person that you were meant to be. You meet the person that God created you to be, that you were living at your fullest potential. And you don't want to meet this stranger. You want to meet somebody living the exact life that you're making. And I think, like, Rachel talked about it, and then Jade talked about it, and it's just, we have so much potential inside of us. It is up to us to unleash that potential. And I wholeheartedly believe that this is the business that's going to do that. I mean, I've been a teacher. I've, worked a lot of other jobs and everything. And I think that you can, unleash so much potential in those other jobs but I think there's so much more inside of all of us that we can let out through Beachbody. So those were some of my big takeaways. And again, like if you guys want us to go deeper in any of those trainings, then we definitely can in future calls and stuff. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys.
And just to play off of what Nina was talking about, I mean, she hit so many good points from the trainings that we were in, but yes, like I love Beachbody. I bleed blue. Like I wholeheartedly believe in every single program and product and everything, but that is just our vehicle to make a bigger impact. We are not, just Beachbody products. We're not just representing Beachbody products. We're representing a whole lifestyle change, a whole different life when it comes to yes, physically, but mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And I think when you recognize that and you see that, then you get the bigger picture of what we represent as coaches and the opportunity that we have in front of us. And then just to go along with the storytelling, Bonnie referenced when you're listening to a story and hearing a story about how you are emotionally invested in that character. So think about when you are writing your posts that people are getting emotionally invested in you. You are the main character. You have supporting characters like your family members and your husband and, your whoever else, but like your team even, like whatever, your friends, whatever, but you're the main character. And by telling stories, then people become emotionally invested in you. And they, that trust factor, that connection factor comes into play more when they're hearing those stories instead of being just so surface level when it comes to sharing about yourself and your journey. Okay. Who else? Anyone else? Okay, go ahead.
One of the things I love all the things that you guys have shared because I wrote a lot of those down. But the one thing that I liked was the analogy to the ugly duckling story. The very first day I wrote about that, finding people who are trying to find their sense of belonging in their inner swan. That really stood out to me. And when Jade said that we are transformation architects, not coaches, that really stood out to me as well. So that's been on my mind a lot of how to get in that mindset instead of being coaches. The other thing in one of our sessions, they talked about that people are not going to connect to us because of what we're doing, but why we're doing it. And I think that goes along with the storytelling aspect that you guys were just talking about. And in our session, they were talking about going from okay to great with the storytelling as well, not just posting your sweaty selfie, but telling the story behind it. So those were my takeaways.
Awesome, Bridget. Thank you. And that goes back to putting meaning behind your goals that you have. When you put meaning behind your goals and you have that strong why, that, people are going to feel that and hear that in what you're sharing and when you're talking to them. Okay, who else? Anyone else want to share?
I can share.
Okay, thanks, Anne.
Melanie Mitro, when she talked a little bit about how you can get stuck on feeling salesy or like you're just pushing products, but you need to take a step back and make a list of all the things you love about what you do, and then just really use that to lead with heart and integrity and look to serve others. And an action item she suggested was to keep a journal at your bed at night, and before you go to bed each night, write down a list of the ways you impacted others that day. So it could be challengers, it could be other coaches, it could be your family, it could be ways you've made an impact for yourself. But just keep that running list, and that keeps that energy high and keeps your heart kind of where it needs to be to really make this business what it can be.
I love those. Thanks, Lisa. I saw Hannah. I said Hannah because I saw Hannah unmute first, so sorry. I didn't see where the voice was coming from at first, but thank you, Lisa, for sharing. Okay, Hannah, go ahead.
This is my first summit, and I'm a teacher, and I honestly didn't get involved with actually coaching and reaching out to people. I was posting stuff and putting stuff on my stories, but if you don't reach out to anyone, nothing's gonna happen. So I kind of got the ball rolling for that, like with that at the end of the school year. And then when summer hit, the like challenge within the Dream Builders, like the Excel sheet, started like literally on my first day of summer vacation. So I'm like, okay, like let's buckle down and do this. So I've only been like diving into this since June 3rd. And it's been so much fun. And now that the school year starts in like a couple weeks, I'm just like excited to like hopefully be able to like be a teacher and this at the same time. I'm interested to see how that goes. So, but anyway, that's just kind of my backstory to give a preface for this. But my husband came with me to Summit. And since I was very new, I'm like, was kind of not skeptical, but I'm like, I'm going to try this summer and see how it goes. And if not, like, whatever, I tried. But just going there and seeing all the people, like there was 206 elite teams. And I'm like, oh my God, they're all over the US. And if they can do it, then I can do it, kind of thing. So it was just inspiring to see that. And there's so many different people, even like how they look and their personalities, and they're all successful in different ways. So, and some people like are in it to lose weight. Some people are in it to not lose weight. Some people are in it for mental reasons. Like, it was just nice to see that you can be different and still be successful, I guess.
That's awesome, Hannah. That's definitely a great takeaway. And shout out to you, because I know you've shared completely in Dream Builders that you were like diving in. This was your time that you were diving in. You have had that like electronic tracker that you've been sharing, and you have been doing an amazing job. And did you just post that you just like got, you hit Success Club for the first month, right?
Yeah, I like those promo codes were gone like in like the first day, and I actually had to tell someone, I'm like, oh, sorry, like they're already gone. And I'm like, boom.
That's awesome. Good for you. Okay, and then just a side note piece of advice, because I was like totally in your shoes. I was a teacher, and I always, used teaching as, in the beginning, used teaching as an excuse as to why I couldn't build my business. And especially at the beginning of the school year, I would put my business in the back burner, because I know it is insane as a teacher. But you have solidly built your habits this summer, and you have done such an amazing job doing so. Keep it up going into the school year, and don't go into the school year saying like, oh, I'm curious how this is going to work. Like, maybe this will work. You have to make that mindset, like make that decision that I am going to make this work, and this will work, and I won't put it on the back burner, because that's exactly what I had to do. And I specifically remember doing that going into the school year that ended up, not saying like when I went into this business, I never wanted to quit teaching, and it just ended up happening. But that was the school year that ended up being my last school year, was when I made that shift, and that made all the difference in the world. Okay. Anyone else want to share? It's 9:46. So yes, Christy, go ahead.
Sorry, I'll be quick. So
No,
I had two things that just kind of rocked my world. And the first one is one that you've probably heard from Kimberly too, but both of us, we were in something and they said, no, this is an interview for a job. This is a job offer. Like, this is what we're doing. We're giving them a job offer. That just blew my brain up to have that perspective, especially for myself to start actually inviting, because I'm like Heidi and hate it with a passion. But it's getting a little easier, maybe. And then the other thing was we had a pre-event with Melanie, Maura, Katie, and one more person. I don't know. But she said that like every single one of us should be making Morning Meltdown our #1 priority, because we're coming with all this momentum, and that like don't waste that. So I like how she was just saying, like, when there's a launch and you have the excitement, don't waste what you could do with that. Those are my two big ones.
I love it, Christy. Yeah, and going with that, I feel like someone mentioned it at Summit too. Like, when you're talking with people and someone asks you, like, how often does it come up? Or even like not even in person, like when you're talking to people like through Messenger or DM on Instagram or whatever, and people ask you what you do, like, yeah, it used to be really easy for me to say I'm a teacher. Okay. But you need to say, I'm a teacher and I'm a health and wellness coach, or whatever you call yourself. Maybe you want to start saying, I'm a teacher and I'm a transformation architect as well, but I mean, I don't know if you want to say that, but in our minds, I love thinking that way, but they might be like, what the heck is that? But, like putting it out there that, yeah, this is a job and you are offering this job to them as well. So good takeaway, Christy. Tara, did you ever hand up before? Okay, go ahead, girl.
Okay, so like before I signed up for Beachbody, like even just as like a challenger, I always had like these like preconceived notions about like what it was. I mean, just like with the name and everything. And I mean, then like I slowly started to learn like the longer I've been involved, and knew that like wellness was like the bigger picture. But actually being at Summit and seeing how corporate is so behind their products and so passionate about what they're doing, and just seeing the transformation about how like lives that are being changed and being able to see like the bigger picture was it was mind-blowing just to see that there's so much more than what people's first like initial reactions are to, oh, well, I'm a Beachbody coach. It's like there's so much more there.
I love that. I love that bigger picture, because that's so important too. Because yeah, we're not, kind of goes along to what I said about, yes, I bleed blue. I love Beachbody and all the products, but we have the opportunity to share something bigger than even Beachbody. There's just so much more to it. So that's a really important takeaway too. And just hearing those guys from corporate, I was talking about it before I mean, they get so emotional. Like if you ever have heard Kim Carver, I mean, I know some of you girls were in Utah with us but listening to Kim Carver, and then even Doug Moss in our Leadership 2 training, like him getting teary-eyed because they tied in that storytelling and just get so passionate about their job and their role in Beachbody. So that's awesome to see. Okay, anyone else want to share? Anyone else? Okay, well, we will hop off then if no one else wants to share, but I appreciate you getting on this call. I love seeing all these faces. Like, this is amazing. Can we keep this up? We have Dream Builders coming up next week. We're going to have Brandy, one of our corporate reps, keep that momentum going. We have some things in store for you. So let's keep showing up for one another, because this is amazing to see all of you on this call. So thank you for being on live. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon. Bye.